Welcome students, welcome to the channel English with Sach. Instead of a lesson today, we have a guest, a good friend of mine. It's honored to invite Michael from Germany, and we'll have a little bit of a discussion in terms of how English can be a really useful language when you travel globally. Michael, welcome to my channel.
Thank you.
Michael, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey from Germany to India?
Well, yeah. Nice to be here in India. And as you heard, I'm from Germany. And when I came a couple of years ago to India, I did it overland.
All right.
So normally you fly, what I
yeah.
do as well as other people do.
Sure.
But that one journey was amazing. It took me 5 months.
Okay.
It's only a pleasure if you allow yourself a lot of time
yeah,
to do
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
And I did it like by public transport. Then
Wow.
it's not cheaper or anything. It's
Sure.
just a very different way of travel.
Yeah.
And you see all the countries on the way.
Yeah.
So from Germany through southeastern Europe to make the way to Istanbul.
Yep.
And then through Turkey, through Iran,
Yeah.
and finally Pakistan.
All right.
And then Wagah border into India.
Into India.
And that was very exciting. I would like to do that journey again.
Yeah.
Maybe next time the other way around,
Going
from India to Germany. After 5 months, I crossed the Wagah border and was in Amritsar.
Okay, all the way. And how long ago was that? Which year was this?
That was 2009.
Far out. Okay.
So it's
Quite
not
interesting.
just yesterday that it happened,
yeah.
but it is doable.
Okay, good to know. Michael, thanks for that answer, and definitely a different experience that my viewers have never heard of before. Certainly something interesting that other viewers might be interested in. Michael, another question that I had for you was, how did you learn English in the first place?
Yeah.
And if you faced any challenges as you were learning English, let it be in school or college?
Right. So, first of all, knowing that I'm from Germany means German is my mother tongue, not English.
Yep.
Same like in India.
Yep.
School kids learn English in school.
That's
that's the basics.
Yeah.
So from that is not sufficient. What you learn in school, that gives you only a base.
Sure.
And from that base, you start.
Yeah, that's correct.
And I learned English later, I would say on the road, traveling in other countries.
Sure.
And most helpful it would be in an English-speaking country, like USA, UK, Australia, whatever. But not everybody can be there.
That is
so
correct.
you can be in some other country. What sometimes is helpful if a country is or used to be part of these Commonwealth countries. So with a colonial background, because English is widely spoken in those countries.
Yes, that is
not
correct.
like countries which had close connections to France, for example.
That is correct. Yes.
So I traveled mostly in countries which had some relation to UK.
That's correct.
In the past.
Like
India.
You bring out two really good points based upon my channel exist. One is I always say to all of my students that the English that you learn in schools is very basic. You do need a lot more practice, and particularly conversational English outside of school, and hence the whole existence of my channel. And you do bring out another good point. In a way, we are lucky to be Indians, thanks to UK. Out of all of the bad things that political misery, let's forget that, but we were blessed to learn English language from British as they left. Indians are nowadays one of the major labor force that is available in UK, and thanks to British who were here, we all learned English, and it is very much so part of our educational process. We do have some schools that teach all topics in English, which is a debatable thing that is happening in India right now. But my channel's focus is to make sure that all kids should learn their mother tongue, but it is absolutely important to learn English because it is a global language. Which brings me to my third question for you. And the question is, how important do you think that people need to learn English, particularly when they travel globally, even to countries that are not purely English-speaking countries, for example, such as Germany, such as France, because there are lots of Indian youngsters who are good at what they do, mainly in technical areas such as IT workers, engineers, even doctors, who are traveling abroad now to help out the elderly generation at times in the medical field. How important do you think English learning is, and particularly spoken English or conversational English?
All right. This conversation. We are humans. I mean, we are supposed to interact. We're not living alone on our personal planet. So interaction is what it's all about in life. And English is, if we like it or not, the global language.
That is correct.
It is not Russian. It is not Chinese. It is not German or French. It is English. That's just a matter of fact. And if you come, let's say, to Germany is not an English-speaking country. So if you come to such country, you can make conversation in English.
Sure.
So regular it happens, let's say, Sashi, you come to Berlin. And you ask somebody in a supermarket, whatever, excuse me, do you speak English? Many times the answer would be yes, a little.
Yeah, that's correct. I experienced that.
And when people say a little, they mean that. What is why they don't say just yes? Because there everything is in the local language.
That is correct, yes.
And people don't have the ability to practice these English skills.
Sure,
So practice is very important, because if you don't use that language, you lose that language.
Yeah, that is very correct. If you don't use, you lose. Absolutely.
That is just a matter of fact. So I warmly recommend practice.
Absolutely.
Practice spoken English as much as possible.
Sure, absolutely.
When you meet somebody who is from another country, even so, it might be not an English-speaking country, like in my case, try to approach, try to speak, do some conversation. That brings you further. The more you do that, the more your language skills will get better and develop.
Absolutely. That makes sense. So thank you, Michael, for giving us that insight that if you don't use the skills, you will eventually lose the skills. I can vouch for the fact that Michael comes from Germany, which is purely not a English-speaking country, at least not the first language. But with my limited knowledge of German, I just said hello to Michael a few years ago, and a friendship that was built upon English-speaking abilities turned out to be a great friendship over the years. So thank you, Michael, for giving that advice. The last question that I have for you is, do you have any specific advice? For example, quite a few of my students who are Indians or even abroad who are non-native English speakers who want to improve their conversational skills, and of course, as the language improves, they will gain confidence. So a lot of my students know English really well. They know written spoken English as well in the school, but because of the lack of practice, they lack confidence. So do you have any advice specifically for students who are looking to go abroad or even work for international companies here in India to improve their English skills?
Try to get in touch with people from abroad.
Sure.
I say that because if you speak English with other Indians, let's say one is from Hyderabad, the other from Thane, then you will have always a certain Indian English.
Yeah, that is correct.
That fits perfectly in India, make you a nice conversation between people from the north and from the south. But if you would come to a city in Europe, it could even be a city in North America or somewhere else, it might be not understood, because the pronunciation in India is not exactly the same as it is over there. So if you approach foreigners, try to get how that sound goes.
Sure,
you know,
absolutely.
It's about the pronunciation. It's not about vocabulary necessarily. I mean that as well. The more you are in contact with others, the more fluent the language gets. But it's about sound, it's about pronunciation as well.
As we close our interview for today, Michael brings out a really good point, which is truly the effort of my channel to give the Indian students, or give all the students all around the world whose second language is English, an insight into Australian, UK or American culture, so they get to know how a certain word or certain aspect of English language is practiced. They get to know how the pronunciation is done. Hopefully they will get to know a country specific vocabulary, because believe me, there are a lot of words that are part of English that are said completely different in UK and completely different in Australia or the US, and my channel has a couple of videos like that. But Michael brings a really good point, that if the students whose second language is English and first language is any native language that they have, one of the best things that they can do is talk to someone whose first language is English, possibly abroad in the English-speaking countries such as UK, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, United States, or even Ireland. I do know a few South Africans who have first language as English because they travel a lot. But Michael, thanks a lot. You bring out a lot of good points for my students, and we truly appreciate your presence on the channel, and we'll hope to have you back again in a few months. But truly honored to have you in our channel today. Thank you, Michael.
Welcome.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Pleasure.